Sam, and let's see, our timer is now being done by Richard, correct? Or Charlie? Charlie, okay. So, Ann's speech is scheduled to be 5 to 7 minutes. The title is My Observations and Behaviors Sitting in an Airplane. My Observations and Behaviors Sitting in an Airplane. Please welcome Ann Pham.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. My fellow Toastmaster. Sitting in airplane for 6-hour flight can be very boring, can be energy draining. How many of you agree if you are sitting between completely two strangers on a red-eye flight are very uncomfortable? All right, thank you. Tonight I will tell you some of my observation and behavior that I committed when I sat on the airplane more often recently because I've been traveling a lot. And of course, to drive my boredom and just to make it fun, I did something that I thought about and I would like to share with you. When I sit in an aisle seat, I actually have a perfect view of the screen of the person who watching the movies across the aisle, one row up. I could not help peeling my eye off the movie or TV show, whatever they watch, even though I did not hear any dialogue. And I know, and I try, because I know that it's very impolite to do that. And of course, I try to not to let anyone to see that. But doesn't matter how hard I try to look away, I usually end up looking at the screen again. So that is one of the things that I find that if I sit in the aisle, that was something that I would behave. And because I sat in the aisle, I took advantage of having the ability to stretch out my legs. And several times, the flight attendant have to politely wake me up by asking me if I want any drink or coffee from her drink cart. I know that I stopped her from moving her drink cart across the aisle because I stretched my legs out and I fell asleep. And of course, people around me could not say anything. But the flight attendant will politely ask me to wake up by offering me drink or coffee, something like that. And if I sat in the middle, it's very uncomfortable. But for 6 hours, what can I do? I don't want to watch movie. That maybe I finish one movie and I don't want to watch movie again. It's really hard to concentrate on reading when you have people on both sides flanking and you don't want them to see what you read. So I had to do something. And whenever the airplane take off or landing, I try to get a good look out of the windows. And most of the time, I would make the person who sit next to the window very uncomfortable because I was too close to that person. So you could see that they were very tight to the window to allow me some space or to allow me to have good angle if I decide to use my iPhone to snap some of the our window scene or the landing that the scene below on the ground. And if one time I sat on the window seat and the gentleman across the aisle asked me to move across the aisle and sit next to the window because he wanted to sit next to his wife, who is sitting in the middle of the seat. And I wonder, why? Was he jealous of me sitting next to his wife, or he just wanted to be with her? And I don't have the question. I did not dare to ask the question. Sometimes I wanted to, so maybe someday I have the courage to ask him or the lady, whoever asked me to move across the aisle so that they can be next to their loved one. One time, I saw a lady get into the airplane, the first person to get into the airplane when she fly the Southwest. So I fly on the same flight. So she was the first one to board the airplane. While waiting for my connecting flight, I get in line to get a coffee, and I ran to her. So I started the conversation. So I asked her, how come you was the first one to board on the Southwest airline? And she told me that, let me show you a trick. If you check your luggage at the guy who at the curb and ask for a boarding pass with a free ball, they can do that for you. You can be the first one to get into the Southwest airline. You know, Southwest airline, sometimes I wait for usually you can check in 24 hours, right? So I wait on the exact time and I check in. I usually the last one. I don't know why. So I wonder why she to be the first one to get. So she told me that, and she said that, but then I said, how much you have to pay for that? And she told me only $5. And that $5 is just for the tip. So today I tried that on my flight from Tustin to Long Beach, Southwest Airlines. I checked in the luggage at the curb and asked for a boarding pass with a free ball. And the gentleman, of course, they give me a unfriendly look. But he print out the boarding pass, he gave me the free ball, and I give him $5. And I was so happy. I was the first one to get on the Southwest Airline. I was the first one sit on the first seat on the Southwest Airline. So it's very interesting. And of course, when you fly a lot, it can get very boring sometimes and can be very tired. But if you try to make it more interesting by behaving and observing things that I'm just telling you. And also I would suggest you to try get the free ball with the Southwest Airline. And I think maybe the lady don't have any issue, but the gentleman, maybe they give you an unfriendly look, but they don't ask you for anything. All you have to do is they check in the luggage, ask for the free ball, and give them $5 tip, and you can be the first one to get on board on the Southwest Airline. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Okay, well, thank you, Ann. That was a very good tip. I have to remember that one. Guys, yeah.